first spring here, just what's it been like, getting comfortable around the guys in this program, from a
Yeah.
different vantage point than you've had in the past?
Yeah, it's been unique, to say the least, but I'm having a blast. Where I'm fortunate is the entire office staff's been together for a long time. So to have the veteran guys in that room, how they've helped me. Parker Stone, my assistant, has been unbelievable. So and I got a great room. Obviously, we got a lot of talent in the room, but just I think the best compliment I can give to my guys is we love ball. So, but yeah, spring's been great.
When you set out and had to relive this room and pick up, new pieces
Yeah.
to make it your own, what was that process like, and how quickly did you hone in on guys like Theo and Randy and Trey to do that?
Yeah, it was first day on the job was the portal, and coach said, comes to me, we got to go find two. We found three, so yeah, found Theo and Randy early in the process, and just chipped away at that relationship just through it, and man, we lucked out with some unbelievable human beings and great players, and then Trey Jackson coming back home was big, and his upside is through the roof, and he's had a really good spring, starting to slow down for him. But to have 18 and 5 in the room, Theo and Randy, and the amount of ball they've played, and how they're able to help out the Zach Turners of the world, some of our younger guys, has been super valuable.
What has stood out about Theo so far in spring, and then what's next for him?
Yeah.
Following.
Yeah, it's just obviously the amount of snaps he's had playing the SEC. Football IQ is just off the charts with both of them. But just he's another coach on the field, and the amount of questions that he asks in meetings and on the grass, and he wants to be perfect. But he's a pro. He really is, and how he takes care of his body. Before I came up here, he's chomping a bit to get with me right now and watch film. So not having to push him to the water, he's jumping in each and every day, and just super proud of him.
With Randy, I mean, he's made some pretty impressive catches
Yeah.
in practice from what we've seen, and then just his ability to play, all three downs too. It looks like it stands out kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys just feel like you don't have to take them off the field.
Yeah, I think for Randy coming in here he's pretty familiar, obviously, with our offense and being with Coach Malzahn and what he did at Central Florida and Florida State. But he just, I mean, can't say enough about him. Like when people ask me about Randy, I say he's just a football player. He's a great football player. He loves ball. Unbelievable personality. Keeps it alive in the room, and but he's a playmaker. And you're absolutely right. We can put him all over the place. And same thing with Theo. That's the thing that I've been so impressed with, was just new verbiage, really like formationally, and how we're hopping in and out of 11 and 12 personnel, that they're interchangeable, and then they can do, days they can do the run game and the pass game. Don't feel like one does one better than the other. So it makes things fun for coach.
I was talking with Grizz, and he shouted out Tripp and the work that he's
Yeah.
done, and just being a leader too. I mean, what have you seen from him as he now has a chance to really kind of improve the amount of snaps he gets and things like that?
Yeah. So when I got here, I just dived into the film, right, and locked myself in my office and just trying to get more familiar, obviously, with what we're doing offensively, holistically. And then, Tripp really jumped off the screen. I thought he played good football late in the year. And for him, it's just confidence, right? And he's the seasoned veteran in the room when it comes to being in this offense. What he's been able to do, he's probably our highest graded guy right now in the spring, low MA guy. And what he's been able to do in the run game has been super impressive. Very pleased where he's at, and I think the next step for him is just kind of being that guy in our room, like Stone Eby, right, and kind of being our bell cow in the run game and being physical and bring that presence to the room.
Trey, hasn't really done too much as far as pitching the ball and
Mm-hmm.
things like that from his previous stop, but
Yeah.
he played a lot of football. What have you seen from him with this fresh start and getting him the ball and seeing what he can do?
Yeah, I mean, his catch radius is ridiculous. I mean, obviously, when he walks in the room, he looks the part, and his wingspan. I think right now we're just keeping him at the 8 right now so he can play fast and play free. But just been really pleased where he has grown each and every day. And I think probably the biggest jump he's made is in the run game. But understanding the how and the why is his biggest thing right now, and it's starting to click.
When you see Zach Turner,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't really look like a freshman. He looks like somebody who's been around at college for a couple of years
Mm-hmm.
now. I mean,
Yeah.
one, that's probably a credit to what
Yeah, I've had some battles against Duncanville in the past. Never competed against Zach. Obviously, got to watch Zach from afar, just being a local kid and right down the street. But just, I mean, he's as advertised, right? And I think I mean, he's a senior in high school right now, and for the older guys in the room, how they've gravitated to him and want to see him do well. But he's gonna be a big help for us this year, and in the pass game and the run game. I think the biggest thing, like he wants to go mix it up, right? Sometimes it's out of control, but it's full tilt every single play, and it's when it starts slowing down for him. I mean, you're gonna see him kind of unleash his playmaking ability.
When you look at your room as a whole, I mean, where do you need to see next steps taken this summer? Or what are some of the things on your to-do list as a whole?
Yeah, besides like trips and Miles Uter, I mean, it's a room that's learning right now. Each and every day with the installs that are coming in. Like right now, we've slowed the installs down, more like situational stuff, things that we got to get on film before we hit the summertime, so we have retention in our room for sure. But it goes back to the how and the why. Like, why are we calling this? And what's my technique supposed to be? But like, I don't want my guys over processing things. Like, we're going to talk about technique and being physical and what we're going to do pre-snap, post-snap, and having a plan. But I think the biggest thing where I got to get the room is once it does slow down for them, like, do what y'all do best, right? And go be playmakers. But yeah, I think the big thing is just understand the offense, to a deeper level this summer.
What's your adjustment been like, if any, just coming up to the college ranks and
Yeah.
now working with the staff?
Yeah, it's like my day to day is obviously a lot different. It's a different type of busy, right? I really enjoy the recruiting aspect of things. I still believe this is a relationship business, and I know obviously there's a money aspect of things, but well, I'm going to go build relationships first with these kids, the kids we're recruiting in my room, so they know that I'm bought in and care about them. But as a head football coach and AD, a different scale, but I can relate to coach. You have to really have a wide lens. As a head coach, you have to see everything and feel everything. And right now, I'm kind of have blinders on where my scope has got a little bit more narrow. And it's good for me to go from kind of running a program, running an organization, to being a soldier. And I'm just here to serve and bring my best each and every day.
And then lastly, what have you seen from Kevin as far as how he's worked with your group and just what he's put on tape and production this spring?
Yeah, he's a dude. Obviously, he's proven that for a long time here and what he did in high school. I can't say enough about the kid. I mean, just the person. I think that's the biggest thing that jumped off to me from the get-go is how he's able to connect, not just with the offense but with the defense, just people in the hallways, from the cafeteria workers to our assistants to the GAs, so on and so on. But he's the pulse of our football team. But he's a great kid, and he's a heck of a quarterback. I'm glad he's touching the ball 100% of the time for us. Awesome.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, brother.
Well, what has the adjustment been like for you jumping up to the college ranks? Is that everything you hoped and dreamed for?
It's a different kind of busy. Earlier mornings, but the days in this business, when you're doing it right, they're always long. You just try to make sure you maximize every minute, and so it's been a different kind of busy, but we do a really good job of maximizing time.
With your room, the corners, and then working alongside Coach Hunley, what's that been like, and having McGill back there too, helping you guys out?
I mean, it's been pretty awesome. It's easy to come into rooms where the players have been well coached and they have a good understanding. At times early on, they were helping me along, with things and how we do things here. But Coach Huntley's been awesome. Coach McGill is an old man. He's an old soul, so he will move up very fast in his profession, just because of his maturity and knowledge. But I mean, it's been pretty good.
And then, as far as bringing in a guy like JT, who you know well, what has that been like for you to kind of rewind almost everything and pop back into a room with him?
Well, it's been good. I think for me, just because things Coach Hunley wanted to emphasize as we adjusted towards this season, kind of fit really well, and JT has an understanding of those things, and so he fit right in right away. And again, those guys in that room, they are very seasoned, and it's been a really easy transition for both of us. I'll say that.
What impresses you about him? Because it seems like he's really come in and just taken full advantage of this fresh start for him.
I think it's just that. I think his mentality coming in was fresh start, and he attacks every day, and his athletic tools are special. He can burst, he can run. He has ball skills, he has patience. He has a lot of the things that people look for in a corner with the size that he has. So, of course, I've experienced it before. So, I don't get too excited about it. It's kind of now the expectation, and trying to make sure he sees it the same as he has to be perfect.
You don't have to worry about him going over the running back this time.
I hope not. I hope I ain't got to share him with the offense.
Marcellus Barnes is another key returner for the room. What have you seen from him? Because this is his first time, really being fully healthy for a spring, and probably just in a minute now.
I think it's just a workman's attitude. That's one thing about Marcellus. He wants to get better. He's gonna ask a million questions. He wants to rep it. He's excited about getting better, and I think that's why he's gonna be great.
And Speedy is another player back, kind of a familiar face for a lot of people. What has he done this spring? And he said he's kind of worked a little bit at nickel too.
Speedy's versatility is outrageous. Speedy can do so many things well, especially with his size. He's a corner, and he can play corner at a very high level. I think his transition and from redshirt freshman to the next year will be a big jump. But like you said, he's been getting in at other spots, and his tools that he has, I think, will be on display.
Smoke's one of the fastest guys on this team, but it's kind of been up and down for him at times. What have you seen from him this spring, and just maybe some changes here and there have maybe helped?
Yeah, I think Smoke's battle is consistency. On the small details, he cares, and that helps a lot. When a player like Smoke cares, you will see improvement, and we've seen that this spring.
When you take over a room like this and kind of come in when you're working alongside a coach who's been there for a while, what conversations do you guys have behind the scenes about, okay, how do we approach this guy, or work in new techniques or new approaches?
I think it's a balance because, like I said, Coach Hundley did such a good job with these guys and the relationships that he has with these guys. It's about coming in and me learning the culture and making sure that I'm fitting in to what we do here because it isn't broken. So it's been easy for me. And Coach Hundley has done a real good job of helping me, just making sure day to day that I have an understanding of how it needs to be. And shoot, that makes it real easy because now I just need to do what the expectation is.
Last year, just a season that had its ups and downs and battles, at times with the secondary. What have you seen from the guys from a mentality perspective about how they were taking last season and trying to just up their game and level play this?
I think the group has taken it as a challenge, for themselves. They know how last year went at times, and that was probably the first conversation that Coach Hundley had with the guys when I was around about what we're going to do about it moving forward. And again, the battle is consistency, and I think the formula that we have in place moving forward, I think those guys have progressed every practice this spring to showing that they can be pretty consistent.
I know you weren't here last year, but you've seen a lot of SMU. Do you sense there's a little bit more of an aggressive nature, some tight coverage approach being taken? Because it just seems like there's a little bit more, I don't know, aggression out there.
Yeah, I think the goal is has been from the very jump to play tighter coverage, but still not lose the identity of who we are and limiting explosives and things like that. So, I mean, I can say there's been a lot of excitement. Coach Crum has made it to where, as an entire defense, it's about energy and how we approach each day and not ooze into the day or dread being there. You know, we've been taking advantage of every practice, and it's been a lot of juice.
When you go against a guy like Kevin every day, how fun is that for you since you guys have a long history of battling each other in practice?
Yeah, you know, I kind of got Kevin. I like to take credit for how much he talks because I talked to him when he couldn't talk back. And then when he kind of found it and started talking back, now he finds me. If he has any success, he gonna say something to me, whether on the field or he'll catch me later or walk up on me in the cafeteria. Just it's fun. It's you know when for me now that he can fight back, you know I try not to give him too many opportunities to say something to me because he don't know how to stop.
What have you observed of him as he's grown from what he did at Stock and that historic season and moment to now and going into his final year and what he's meant to Dallas too?
I mean, you know, with Kev, I guess from my perspective, you know, I knew him before all of it, and so watching him grow socially, as the quiet kid to now, you know, a social butterfly. He knows everybody, he talks to everybody, he initiates conversations. It's pretty cool. As far as you know, just being in Dallas, I mean, when we were at the parade, you know, everybody knew, you know, Jennings, Jennings, Jennings. So you know, it's cool to see somebody who deserves that get that, and I know he plans to cap it off the right way.
Now that you're here and you're recruiting for SMU, keep kids home. What's that message been like for you? Have you refined that? You've gotten that in a good place?
You know, I only have ever known how to be me, and I think it's proof in it. You know, I went through the recruiting I had to be recruited to SMU. You know, so it's a lot of things here to sell, and I think the local kids, it's not what it once was as far as they're around a lot, you know, and it's intentional, and you don't necessarily have to beg them to come. You know, they're gonna be here. They show up a lot and make sure that they're comfortable here. So I think it's getting to the point where it's starting to sell itself, and I think we're seeing that in the results of it.